Hello and welcome back to Wrestling Tea Tarot, where we look beyond the kayfabe and beyond the booking to try to find some truth in the world of professional wrestling. As always, this is for entertainment purposes only. I am Jude. I'm here with my partner Calypso Vibes, and today we're going to take a look at Stephanie McMahon, the $1 billion princess. It's been a wild year and a half, 2 years for Steph. Her husband, Triple H, Paul Levesque, had his heart issue. Then the scandal broke about Vince and the payoff money. Steph stepped away from the company. Then Vince left the company. Then Steph came back. Then Vince came back. Then Steph left again. And then they announced the sale of the company to Endeavor. With all of this going on, I think it's fair to wonder, what is Steph feeling about the whole thing? What's her relationship with Vince and the other McMahons? What are the prospects that she will in fact return to WWE again at some point in the future, near or far? Nick Khan has been on record saying he would love to see Stephanie come back. We know Steph's father is pegged to be the executive CEO or executive chair of the combined WWE and UFC, and Steph's husband, Triple H, Paul Levesque, is so far looking like he will continue in the role as Chief Creative Officer. So, as this family business becomes a conglomerate, a lot of opportunities, a lot of change, a lot of chaos. What is going on with Steph at this time? We've already had one card drop as I've been shuffling, and that's Truth and Expression. That's one thing I definitely would not be expecting in this situation from just about anyone involved, but hopefully we can uncover some truth as we continue to shuffle this Yin Yang Oracle deck. Oh, there we go. Had a handful drop. For those of you who have watched our videos before, we start with this deck quite often. And here we go. We've got a fair chunk that just fell. Again, we started with the Truth and Expression, Avoidance and Stalemate. Is that a stalemate within the family about what people's roles and responsibilities are going to be? I'm sure Stephanie and Shane probably have some feelings about their family business being sold off before they can get their hands on it. Confusion, Illusions, and the planet Neptune. Neptune, I believe, governs Pisces. None of the McMahons are Pisces.
Yet I pulled that same energy in my reading. Someone's a Pisces, close to them.
Hot, Attraction, and Mars. Mars, of course, is also referred to as Aries, the god of war, and governs the sign Aries. No Aries in the McMahon family either. Who was it? Where was Ari Emanuel and all of that? I can't think right now of what his sign was when we were looking at the sale to Endeavor. Spy, Watching, and Inspecting. I know Calypso just did a reading on Linda McMahon, and this energy kept showing up. I bet there are a lot of people watching Vince's moves as this is approaching, and really trying to figure out what the next direction for the company is going to be. Oh. Memories and nostalgia for a person who grew up literally in the business. I'm sure we've all heard Steph talk about her best friend Andre the Giant when she was a kid. There've got to be a lot of strong memories and nostalgia attached to Stephanie in the business, and we just went through a very nostalgia-heavy WrestleMania. Of course, it had the same, WrestleMania 39 had the same theme as WrestleMania 21. We were doing callbacks of Eddie Guerrero. Of course, Trish and Lita were both back. There were a lot of things that were going on. Heck, one of the Bushwhackers passed that same weekend. Just a lot of feelings all around tied into that WrestleMania. And with the sale being announced immediately after that, that's got to tug at your heartstrings a little bit. And again, you'll probably hear me say family business over and over again, but that's what this was. Again, it's not some mom and pop shop on the corner, but it did have, if not humble beginnings, much more modest beginnings than where it is now. And Steph grew up around all that. Reflection and projections. Again, looking back, the reflection and projections, how much does Steph resemble each of her parents, right, who built this company, and how much have they projected onto her as far as her attitudes about the business and her relationship with the business. I mean, she married I don't think he was the company's top star when she married him, but she married the person who was chosen to be the company's top star. So she's about as ingrained in the future of WWE as she is in the past of WWE. I've got lack and doubts. Again, she's stepped away from her CEO role. She's got to have some doubts about what her role will be in the future. And I think over these past, we've had two Monday Night Raws now since WrestleMania. Do people have their doubts about how much freedom Triple H is going to have on the creative side? Vince, of course, has said publicly in that press conference that he doesn't plan to really be in the weeds dealing with the day-to-day stuff, that he wants to be more big picture. I've got my doubts. So, obviously, Steph and Triple H are two separate people, but his job security is her security. So I bet that there are a lot of doubts in a lot of people's minds here. Epiphany and breakthrough. Is there something on the horizon where, as this deal moves forward, things are going to be more clear for Steph about what she wants to do, about what the company wants for her. There's a breakthrough coming. And right on top of that, contracts, career, commitments, until debt tear us apart. And Saturn governs Capricorn, which there is one Capricorn in the McMahon family, and that is the recovering from surgery Shane McMahon, who some years ago would have been the heir apparent, the person you would have thought would be inheriting the company as Vince, ages and eventually decides to step away. Is Shane going to be putting up some kind of a fuss here or trying to play a bigger role? Or are we just looking at contracts and career commitments for the obvious reasons that everybody would be looking at? The company's just been acquired. Everyone stands to make a lot more money, but people are definitely going to be looking at what does this mean for them financially, whether that's Stephanie, Triple H, Paul Levesque, Shane, Vince and Linda. It's going to play a role for everyone. And remember, awakening. We can put this over here with the memories and nostalgia and reflection. I think this has really been an introspective and reflective time, not just during this time with the sale of the company, But as I said, the last 2 years, a health scare related to her husband, scandal related to her father, uh, becoming the CEO or co-CEO as Steph did in that role with Nick Khan. Whole lot to look back on when looking ahead towards the future. So she's got to take stock of what she's been through, where she's been, as she looks ahead to where she is going. But it's definitely a time that's got her looking inward at least as much, if not more than, looking ahead. Calypso, do you want to add anything to this before we start spilling some tea here with this next deck?
Remember Awakening, Nostalgia. Oof, lot of member berries.
There.
Yeah,
I remember. You remember Andre?
A lot of reflecting, having a lot of doubts, breakthrough. Hopefully that means she's healing well from surgery. All first commitments, we've literally, like you said, have heard Nick Khan say he would love to have her back. I think she's watching how everything plays out. Hot attraction. First of all, I've said it again. I said it before. I'll say it again in the other videos. I think the McMahon children should be a part of the business. They are full of information. They have grown up in this business. The fact that they don't have more prominent positions to me still blows my mind, by the way. Like, people could say what they want and say how they feel, and I get it. People could disagree. Oh, I don't think Shane... Like, no one knows that business better than them. No one knows their parents, what they want better than them. Even if Vinny's not willing to let go of the control. But I do think she's had some illusions about things, right? Stalemate, yeah. Expression, truth. She's at least finally possibly speaking her truth. Or we may be seeing that soon. Which, by the way, I saw that with her mother. A lot of expression, a lot of coming out of, hibernation. Just, I would say keep an eye on the McMahon women.
Again, I think she, even though she hasn't publicly said much, I think she expressed plenty
by stepping down.
When Vince came back and she immediately left again. It's like Steph and Vince are on a revolving door.
Right.
One comes in one direction, the other goes out.
I think they don't get along, hence the stalemate and the illusions. Hot tempers, like all kind of stuff. Says a lot though.
Okay, we're now looking for some of the T cards, some of the situational things related to all this. We've had a couple fall already.
But I think she's also might be ready to get from under her father's wing and like do her own thing, live her own life. Like to some degree, I think Shane has been blessed with having that, right? Of can I do it without my dad, right? Can I have a life? Can I be successful in a career without him? That's the smartest thing he ever did. Steph has never had that. She came out of school and went right into the business. She's been WWE, bleeding WWE, and I don't think she feels like her dad has rewarded her or been the kindest of seeing how much she sacrificed for the business. Because one has to believe that. And now you're not inheriting it, nor your children, right? It's now being swallowed. And yes, even though they're going to always own these, a nice chunk of the shares and have a say, they won't have the final say and can be overrode, right? And Vinny's only in position for 2 years and can be fired. And can be fired sooner, but it will cost them quite a bit of money. Nothing's guaranteed with them anymore. So I think she probably does feel lack and you know what I mean, and is upset to some degree. I definitely think she wasn't with the sale. We saw that. We actually heard reports that they were against the sale. So, not shocked. Because I think she helped build it, just has bled and given just as much as Vince.
Well, that's why she's the $1 billion princess. No one ever refers to Shane as the $1 billion prince. And yet here's that Saturn energy. There's the Capricorn.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we just pulled. Trail to happiness. A new happy cycle.
Good for her.
Good for her, right? Independence. Be watchful and curiosity. Well, we see the watching and inspecting over here. So, yeah, she's keeping her independence. She's not going to be tied to the ups and downs of the company. Seeking something new. Again, we know her husband, for at least for now, is still tied to the company. Hang your wings. Misbehaving and naughty.
Ooh, she's being quite naughty.
Naughty.
I love that for her, though.
Abundance. Self-employed and business. We'll put this over here with the new happiness. Home. Safe and family. Well, that's good. Hopefully, we know that she and Triple H have 3 daughters. We know, does Shane have 3 boys or 2?
3. They both have 3 and 3.
So, it's a big family. We know Steph has just had some sort of surgery. Shane has just had surgery from the blown out quad. Who knows what Vince is doing, because he's going around looking like Clark Gable. This safety and family, in whatever form that takes. It looks like this is going to work out for Steph. Worth fixing. Keep trying, don't give up. Is this her relationship with Vince? That's, a little rocky but worth fixing?
Or maybe her mother.
Or maybe her mother. Like, since Linda hasn't been seen in the company, you would have to think Steph has at least been, not this past year, but was working with Vince and keeping, because she was stayed plugged into the business and Vince was running the business, that she would have at least that working relationship. But her mother's been down in Florida. So, is that the relationship that's going to be salvaged? So far, I would not guess that it's her relationship with Nick Khan, the company, because her trail to happiness is in some new way. This abundance coming from being self-employed and independent. It really looks like she's gonna stop being the chief brand officer, face of the company role, and do something a little bit more independent for herself. We didn't get a whole lot of cards that fell out of this deck, but the ones that did, I feel, are pretty consistent and telling. Do you want to add anything here, Calypso, while I'm shuffling up the Egyptian Visions deck?
No, I think you said everything. Like, worth fixing. I think she needs to repair probably quite a bit of relationships. I think Steph sacrificed a lot of relationships with people. Even that could possibly be her children. Because, oh, by the way, she has teenagers now. They talk back. They tell you how they feel.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, and she's out there being quite naughty. We don't know what their marriage really is like. A lot of people, buy into, Steph and Trish, Steph and, Paul. They've been married a long time. And let me tell you, you can be in relationships a long time, they get stale. And they have a lot of money. And they have access to a lot of money and a lot of fun and a lot of naughty things.
And before they were in this relationship for a long time, each of them was in a different relationship for quite a long time.
So,
and we know where both of those parties from those relationships ended up.
Just saying.
Alleged. Well, that's not alleged. That's a fact. But
it's a fact.
The connection is alleged for entertainment purposes. I'm of course referring to both Test and China, who met deaths at a relatively young age.
I'm just saying, they both have been cheaters in their relationships beforehand. So, there's an expression, once a cheater, always a cheater. You know, once you have wandering eyes, you always got wandering eyes. And maybe they're into that as a couple. We don't know.
We don't know. This is allegedly for entertainment purposes.
They could be either happily married, they could be swingers, they could have an open marriage as long as it's respectful and stays out of limelight. Like,
that is not our business. But we're looking anyway.
Right. But I'm just saying, I've bartended in New York around a lot of wealthy people. And man, is it hard to find a guy that wasn't creeping on the side. So, that's not a legend. That's my life experience. Ask a lot of bartenders who bartend in wealthy areas, and they will tell you it's hard to find a guy that's faithful, that comes in with a faithful story. Not impossible, right? It's either new love or the, man, I'm sick of, this relationship. That's why I got this boo on the side driving me crazy. Those are the talks at the bar. So I hope for her sake, whatever they agree upon, she's happy. And as long as they're both happy and respectful about it, that's all that matters. I tell people this all the time. They be like, oh, how could they? How could she? Like, what do you care? Clearly, Vinny, the same thing with Vinny and, what's her name? Linda. Like, they have an open marriage, yet legally married, right? That, whatever makes them happy is all that matters, as long as they consent to it.
Okay, well, with that thesis on marriages out of the way, let's see what the next deck of cards is talking about.
Whatever.
We've got the doubting, unsure about something or someone, lack of trust and confidence, and the choice is unclear. We just had the spy watching, investigating. We had the lack and doubt, so this is definitely in line with what we've already seen. The rise, rebuilding from the ground up, reborn as something different, and rise from the ashes. Well, over here we just saw the independence, the self-employed, the new cycle and the trail of happiness. Desiring, yearning for something, someone. Fantasizing, wishful thinking, a want, a need. Is this related to her goals in business, or is that something more personal? Drastic changes, although in this case it probably is dynastic changes. Drastic changes, destruction of the old, unpleasant surprise, and wake-up call. Boy, I guess finding out that your father has sold the family business and everybody's roles are at risk, that's a pretty drastic change. It's got to be an unwelcome surprise. And you heard I just misread it at first, thinking it said dynastic changes, was related to the McMahon dynasty, in its third generation, with the fourth generation of being in their teens and young kids now. Big power shift in that, as I said earlier, family business. We got small steps, breaking it down into smaller goals, building the momentum, and one step at a time. I think this is related to the rise and what Steph's next plans are. Contracts, we got the money again, legal matters, court cases, commitments made, and soul contracts. Well, there's absolutely going to be legal matters and court cases, both related to the sale of the company, possibly related to Vince and Linda, which if you watch the Linda McMahon video that should be posting right around the same time as this video, you would think this major financial change might spark the legal change for Vince and Linda. And again, as Calypso just mentioned, we don't really know what the relationship is between Steph and Triple H, other than the public face that gets shown to us. Closing, come to the end of a phase, the completion of something, completing a cycle. All of these cards are showing the ending, Gesundheit, the ending of one thing and the birth of a next phase. We see all of the reflection looking back, but we also see the next steps and the rise that's to come. We're going to look at one more deck, but so far Steph's cards are not looking to be especially dramatic, but are absolutely looking like the closing of one chapter and the beginning of another. Clipster, do you have anything to say about these? Just saw a card from a different deck in here, I think.
Pulled the same thing before her mother, the rise. And I think they are mending their relationship and working on something.
This feels very optimistic to me so far. That even though there's some doubt, some doubting, some legal issues to come, whether that's contracts or court cases.
Pulled both of those for the mother.
Mm-hmm.
They got the same desires.
Both Libras, both. I think Steph's birthday is almost in the middle between Vince's and Linda's, but Steph and Linda are both Libras. As you pointed out earlier when we were speaking, Steph is a little bit more on the Virgo-Libra cusp, which would sort of explain how she's got, she's got her dad's energy as well as her mom's. We're going to look now at the Messengers of the Heart deck and maybe get a final word on what Steph's feeling or what Steph's going to be feeling. Oh, I thought that one was about to fall and didn't. If you can hear that on camera, we've got a happy dog sleeping. You can even see her a little bit here.
And me shaking her like she in here going.
Ooh, just had a chunk of cards fall. I don't know. That's not too many. We'll let those lie. I think that the impression we're given is certainly that Stephanie's very, very family oriented, right? And we've seen the home card here. That when she stepped away the first time last year, that it was ostensibly, because of Paul's health and to be able to spend more time with her family. As we're looking at the, this new set of cards, what's this last deck gonna tell us in terms of these endings and beginnings? I think this is my last shuffle. See if anything else is gonna drop. Oh, okay. So these all fell pretty much at once. That one was first, then this, and then these. The first card that threw me off a little bit when I saw it, Game Over. They fear your wrath. They know you're no longer entertaining their half-hearted effort. If that is related to Steph and Triple H, I think it's a little ironic that it would be Game Over because Triple H is, of course, the game. But she's had about enough of some relationship. Taming the Beast. You make them putty in your hands. They know their old conquering ways will not work with you. Is this related to that naughty card that Steph is asserting her power more? potential. This would they're deep in their thoughts about you, realizing their distractions prevented them from seeing the potential in you. Steph absolutely has a lot of potential. Calypso said earlier she should remain a part of the business. She has a lot of insight. She has a lot of experience. I mean, she's still young. She's only 46 years old. She's been in the business pretty much 46 years, her whole life. You're not going to find people with more potential and more insight than the two McMahon siblings. The player, the player lifestyle that wants to find everything they did stopped looking enticing ever since they met you. Looks a lot like this Taming the Beast card over here, where Steph really has a lot to offer and people are going to notice. Power couple. Well, they see that both of you have an equal exchange of power, which can make you unstoppable as a couple. I think at first glance you would say, oh, well, that's Steph and Paul. We're just coming off a pretty, very successful year for WWE where Steph was operating as one of the CEOs and Paul was chief of creative. Or is this more related to the business couple that could be Stephanie and Nick Khan, or Stephanie even and her father? But either way, it's undeniable. Stephanie's strength and capability is all through here. Slipped away. They thought they never had you. To them, you will always be the one that got away. They regret chances they didn't take. Well, there's Steph, who again has just stepped away, and the company may very well suffer for it. They could use her insight.
Sorry.
With Steph gone, what's going to happen to the women's division, especially because we know that this has been near and dear to Steph's heart, overseeing the women's evolution in the company. I think a lot of people who are watching are already going to say, are we moving back to the Divas era? I feel like the company in general, but that division in particular, because Stephanie cared so much about it, would really feel Steph's loss if she stays away. Lack of faith. Leaving you out in the cold has been one of their biggest regrets. Well, that's exactly the same as the slipped away card, so strong confirmation there. You left a permanent mark on their heart that can't be erased. Even if they tried, you will always be remembered. That's the permanent mark card. Again, very similar. Breakthrough. They're planning right now to come towards you to ask for a second chance. Expect communication real soon. Well, we said earlier, Nick Khan has specifically said he would love to see Stephanie back. Maybe an offer is coming. So if that happens, if Steph comes back, or there's at least talk that Steph received a juicy offer, remember, you heard it here, because that's about as direct a telling as there can be. Music brings them closer to you. Certain songs remind them of just how special your connection was to them. I'm not sure what to make of that one exactly. I don't think we're talking about either of Steph's entrance songs, but maybe. Love is a fire. Oh, this picture even looks like Stephanie in a sort of stylized, ethereal way. You've set their heart on fire. In the soul ever burning and unquenchable, it's a natural and undeniable connection. This business is in Steph's blood. It's in the whole family. In that first pull, we saw all of this reflection and nostalgia. it's going to be hard for her to pull herself away from. There are plenty of cards indicating that she is going to break away, get that independence, take the steps to build a new success. And yet, there's also legal matters and contracts coming, and the possibility that whoever is making the decisions, whether that's Nick Khan as the CEO, whether that's Vince himself, whether that's even Ari Emanuel, who liked what he saw going on. I think Triple H, you would think, would want to continue that relationship with his wife as a part of the company. Maybe not. Maybe the two of them together feel like they work better separately than apart. And I don't think that H has the pull to say, oh no, make sure that Steph keeps this job. But there are people around who maybe do have that sort of pull. My takeaway from all of this, it looks like Steph's fighting kind of an internal battle with this reflection and nostalgia, but that her heart is telling her that there's a new future, there's new successes to be had, there are things to build, right, with the rise, the trail to happiness. It's going to be hard to pull away. The company, there are people in the company who are already feeling her absence, right? This lack of faith, this slipped away. The company is better for it if Steph is in the company. And I think that there will be an offer made. I don't know if it will be accepted, but I think that there will be an offer made to retain Steph in a strong position in this company. Whether she chooses to do it or pursue her own glow up, I can't say for certain. I mean, it looks like she would go to continue pursuing other things, but the offer will be there. She'll have the option to stay. Calypso, any final words on Stephanie McMahon, the $1 billion princess?
I love Stephanie McMahon, and I hope whatever she's doing, she's happy about it.
Absolutely.
Because I think seeing anybody give up so much of themselves over the years, I hope, like I said,
she got put up on a cross, literally.
I think
she's a worker.
I think she deserves some happiness. That game over card speaks a lot to what I was saying and what I was implying.
Yes.
Taming the beast, huh?
Mm-hmm. That she put the leash on somebody and brought them in line, and then the player card was very similar to that.
Mm-hmm. Breakthrough potential.
Maybe it wasn't Steph being naughty. Maybe it was this player beast, and Steph had to.
Right, breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Love is fire. Love is a fire.
Love is a fire. Doesn't this look like Steph?
It does.
With those strong blue eyes, shape of the face, coloring.
Mm-hmm. Very priestess energy, as I always say.
Right, it looks like the witch card from that other deck.
Power couple. They are a power couple, though. Her and Paul, regardless of what their relationship is, when they are unified, they are a power couple, especially in the public eye. Slipped away. I think the Fed let her slip away. I think.
And both of these are strongly giving that energy that they're feeling the loss of her not being there.
Absolutely.
Which is why this breakthrough, as I said.
But I think she has a lack of faith that things are going to change just based on what I'm seeing in like the other cards. I don't know if she thinks anything is going to change, which is why she's watching. I think before she comes back, because the business has left a permanent mark on her, right? She's scarred to some degree from the business, right? Oh no, I've bled, I've given so much, I'm kind of marked from it all, right? And she's probably possibly like, yeah, but I'm enjoying it over here for once, right? I'm enjoying the not having responsibility. And she's actually getting to spend her money she's worked for. Like, people don't understand when you work, and you actually get to spend it, you kind of be like, yeah, I don't know if I want to work that hard anymore. And Paul's now working.
Is he?
And she now gets to sit on the porch for once. It might be refreshing. She's jamming out. We might see her at some music festivals. By the way, she loves concerts. She has said that. Like, she loves going to concerts. So, no, I think these cards say a lot about where she's at. And I think, like I said, I think the Fed made a mistake. I think there'll be breakthroughs, but I don't know if that necessarily means to the Fed.
Well,
because there's also the idea.
When someone wants to come to get you back, Steph, think long and hard about what you want before you let them pull you back in.
Right, because I think
because they will be coming.
I think wherever she goes, though, I think she will do well. Like, it's in her cards. Like, I think she will do well, whether it's in the Fed or not in the Fed. I
agree. I feel good about this for Steph. I'm not sure what the actual answer is going to be, but her rise, her independence, all those things are in here, whether she chooses to take this offer to come back or not.
I agree.
Okay, well, hope you enjoyed this talk about Steph McMahon. Please be sure to check out our other videos. Please also like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment.
And turn on that notification bell so you guys know when we put up videos, and so y'all can, be here first to comment, let us know what you think and what some more content you would love to see from us.
Remember always, especially when we look at people's personal feelings, that these readings are for entertainment purposes only and allegedly. But when you see the things we talk about come to pass, remember you heard it here.
Right. In case you see, you know what I mean? But we do respect people's privacy.
So again, I'm Jude with Calypso Vibes. We are Wrestling Tea Tarot. Thanks again for being here, and we'll see you next time. Bye.